Veganism, I think that anger, I think that things like direct action, things like civil disobedience, things that the general population would view as extreme, I think when you look at what is at stake and what's being fought for, it isn't extreme. And I would argue that what's extreme is to do nothing when our planet is dying, when the animals are suffering needlessly. I think it's extreme to bury our heads in the sand and to not think about what's happening and just pretend our actions don't have an impact. To me, that's extreme. And I think standing up for what's right and for what's necessary is the most sane thing that we can do.
Yeah.
Because come 2050, if we've not done something, we're going to be feeling the pinch of that. And obviously every single day the animals feel that. So I think it's extreme to do nothing.
I didn't think it was extreme at all.
I wouldn't use the word extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think they use the word extreme correctly. I think they look at it and they think marching is extreme because I realistically I just don't think they're educated. I don't think they understand what these people are actually out here doing and what they're doing it for.
Yeah, like they said in the speech, they were raised by their parents who were raised by parents who didn't have any of this information, were brought up in a society that, you know, thought that eating meat and contributing to all that was normal.
But do you think this is the right way to go about it?
I don't see what other way you can.
There's no other way.
I mean, you know, people protested the suffragettes protested for women's rights, and you speak to people and they're like, oh, it's not right, you're just stopping, like they think that it's just affecting everyone else getting to work and stuff, but how else are you going to get the government's attention without being violent? Because that's obviously the whole point of them being here.
Inconvenience is the only way forward.
Yeah.
So true.
Well, I was inspired to go vegan by my son Luca here, who, when he went vegan a couple of years back, I said, "This is great, well done, very good." And I've always been interested in all that, but you know, and I always thought one day I'd like to do it. And he said, "Well, how about today?" And what's interesting is that he's taken over the cooking in the house, and his mother is not really into veganism, but she's basically become a vegan by the fact that he does all the cooking.
I turned vegan when I was 14. I believe that everyone at one point can become vegan. There's kind of a moment when you tip over the edge and you think, you kind of have a revelation and realize that I'm going to do this, like today, you know?
I'm Luca, and I've been vegan for about 3 years. When I went vegan, I was 15, I believe. And what made me go vegan is my health. I was worried about my weight, and I was clinically obese at the time. What made me go vegan is this guy, this football player called Tom Follins. He was in Bath with Anonymous for the Voiceless. And I walked by and I saw them and I was like, what is going on here? And he questioned, you know, he started talking to me about it. and he never mentioned a single thing about ethics or the environment, because he somehow knew I was worried about my health more. He talked to me a bit, and he just convinced me to do a 22-day vegan challenge. And that was so impressive. I started, about a year later, I joined Anonymous for the Voiceless myself. I like doing activism because it really helps people, helps me get anger out, because I really want to talk to people about it. It's such a big issue in this world. I would love talking to people about it. After I went vegan, it kept diving into it, the reasons behind veganism, and in a really bizarre way, I found out more about veganism and more about the environment and more about ethics and other things whilst being vegan, not before it. And I've been vegan ever since, because what's the point of going back when you know so much about all these 3 topics? I think it's really important to put yourself around good people, not toxic people. But sometimes I actually like talking to non-vegans and haters and, extremists on the other end, because it really reminds me why I'm doing what I'm doing in a really ironic way. Doing activism and seeing people come around saying how I'm an extremist and yelling at me and almost throwing punches at me really makes me realize what side of history I want to be on. My family don't really care too much, my direct family. I've got a vegan cousin, vegetarian cousins, so it's kind of normal-ish in terms of my dad's side. In Romania, it's very bizarre. The other day I was playing a game with my cousin, and he goes, "Are you still vegan? Like, what's wrong with you?" It's just such a bizarre concept over there. The only reason someone wouldn't eat meat is for religious purposes or something like that. I'm lucky to have a dad that supports me, and by supports, I mean I managed to turn him vegan, which is pretty impressive, considering most people can't turn their parents vegan, just like I can't turn my mum vegan, and she will not nudge. She is quite set with her ideas, and she's happy that she's doing less meat eating, less of these products, but she still eats them occasionally. It's like it's something when you're running on nostalgia. You eat a product, or you do something, you play football, whatever it is, because it reminds you of something. I feel like that's what she's got. It reminds her of Romania, it reminds her of all these, and it's just something that she never thought she could live without. I went to Extinction Rebellion 1 week of their marches, the first week in London, and we pretty much just slept in the road and protested against government inaction towards climate change. It was very interesting. I met a lot of people. It also gave me a really good insight on what this community that I've kind of joined is like. Joining the vegan and environmental community is one of the best things I've done in my life. I tried to, get out of my comfort zone as much as possible. It helps, for example, the whole march, the whole Extinction Rebellion thing was kind of bizarre. I was scared, I was skeptical, I wasn't comfortable with the idea, but I did it anyway. And then it led to this, and it led to me meeting new people, which could lead to more things in life, I think if there is something I'd like from this documentary, is just to show how I think and how I'm not just the vegan dude. I always get looks on the corridors, and people always try to argue with me, like, every single day. I'm not just the environmental activist or whatever that is. I care about many things, and I just want, in my life, I want to do something that can help in any way, shape, or form. If it's people, if it's animals, if it's the environment, it could be a boarding school in Romania if I was to make it, I'd just be happy doing that. And you never know what these kind of things, such as this documentary, it could, bring new opportunities. School has been listening to my vegan, I've been sending them emails and things like that. They've made a food group in response to my emails. However, their food group was ridiculous in the sense of it was one meeting every 6 or more weeks, and they barely talked during those meetings. Nothing happened. So I made that petition, and that petition, you know, kind of boosted the whole process of getting more vegan food on the menu. And this year that's now coming, we should have a vegan meal every single day. What I really want for the future isn't necessarily, oh, so everyone's vegan, everyone's like that. It's just that everyone questions it themselves and questions actions and questions other people. And thanks, for God's sake. Like, if you look online and someone makes a good argument, most people my age will say, okay, but who asked? Like, that's not how you do an argument. That's not how you debate. You don't just say, who asked? Or you don't say, oh, ding dong, your opinion is wrong. Like, that's not how it works. And it just, like, I don't know how to explain the frustration when people will say their argument. They will say, okay, but meat, you need meat. And then when I start speaking, they just leave. They could even leave the room, you know? Like, people don't want to talk. They don't want to hear the other side of the argument in so many cases. This would go with Brexit people. This would go with, you know, Trump supporters, you know, Democrat supporters. So many people don't like talking about their opinions and their views, but how the hell is that going to get us anywhere?